Hey guys, Driz here. I'm going to start a new series called How to Become a Better Yu-Gi-Oh Player. And I know it's been done before, but some of those videos probably weren't extremely high quality. I'm not sure, I haven't actually checked on them myself and looked and seen what other people have done. But I know I can give you guys some high quality videos and help you guys out if you're trying to become a better player. I'm not just going to talk about what you can do in the actual game itself. I want to talk about what you can do outside the game to be a better player. I want to talk about what you can do even trading wise, because trading can help you become a better player as well. So I hope you guys watch all these videos that I'm going to be posting. I'll probably do it one video a week, maybe 2 videos a week. I haven't decided yet. Depends on how much time. I start back in college here pretty soon, so I'll probably be pressed for time. Won't be able to do it as often as I might like. But anyway, this is the first video in the series, and I'm gonna cover what you can do in game and pre-game to be a better player today. And I mean, that's what people probably think all this series of videos should be about. So I figure I'll cover that first, and then you can see how interesting this other stuff that I'm probably going to touch on is, that I think could actually help you become a better player than just tips for while you're actually dueling. So first, we're going to go over pregame a little bit. First of all, make sure you have everything you need. You need something to keep life points, paper, a pen, of course, or a pencil, whatever, to write with. A dice, see who goes first. One of you needs to have a dice. Maybe you're using Snipe Hunter. I don't know why you would be using Snipe Hunter. And actually the dice is good for tokens as well if you need it. Deck box, of course. And make sure it's organized in your deck box. Main, extra, side deck. That way you can just plop it down on the table, you know, like that. Another thing, whatever card is here, you want to make sure you know what it is. You want to make sure it's kind of general. Solemn Warning, pretty general. Icarus Attack, not so much. They're going to know what you're playing if you have that down. So when you put your deck back in your deck box, just make sure if you put it like that or like that, you want to make sure in case you flash this to your opponent, you know, they're not going to know what you're playing automatically. Monster Reborn, I mean, you know, just something like that. In case you accidentally flash it. You don't want your opponent to get any one-up on you that early in the game. Same with Synchro deck. I'm playing Blackwings, so I don't want to flash a Blackwing Synchro. That's probably one of the most common that is in most extras right now. So I would advise keeping that in case you flash it. I mean, a bunch of people are playing that. They're not going to gain anything. I'll give you an example. At locals, I saw a guy with Formula Synchro in his extra and Light and Darkness Dragon in his side, so I immediately thought either Frog Monarchs or Fish that sides Light and Darkness. It was Frog Monarchs, so I mean, I already had a 1-up on him there, knowing what he's playing. And usually, I'd either put these over here. I was taught at the first shonen I went to, an actual shonen, yeah. Put them here. People have gotten away from that now, especially put your RFG there. So I mean, you can put it under here, or some people like to just keep it in their deck box. And make sure you tell your opponent beforehand. Show them. Make sure you keep the deck box on the table if you're going to do that. Now, another thing. Make sure you have life points, regardless of whether your opponent's keeping them or not. Because in case there's a discrepancy, you want, you know, be able to look through all your numbers. You want to pay attention to what's going on in the game pretty well. In case a discrepancy does arise, then you can be like, oh, I paid 2,000 for warning, and then I got attacked with Shura. You know, that kind of thing. You know, just make sure. Something most people don't really realize, I think, is how good a player is by how well they shuffle. I can tell Usually if I see a player shuffling badly, I gain a lot of confidence going up against them. I can't tell you how many times I've actually 2-0'd people just because of their shuffling, in all honesty. Just because, I mean, if they shuffle really slow like this and never switch up, something, you know, just something like that, or if they just want to do something like this but they do it kind of slow, that just telegraphs to me that you're not as good as I am, because I practice more than you, obviously, because I can shuffle well. So practice shuffling, guys. Just get to where you can do it pretty quick, you know, switch it up, do like that every now and then, switch up your style, you know, just kind of stuff like that. It helps people see that you're better. And pile shuffling your deck, make sure, do that kind of quick. So you don't want to take up too much time anyway. I want to touch on shuffling your opponent's deck now. When you're shuffling your deck, you can pile shuffle normal. I mean, like this. But I'm going to give you guys a tip about shuffling your opponent's deck. You know, normal, I mean, put out 8 cards, put this card here, 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 here. You know, most people do that when they're shuffling their own deck. But stacking is a problem in this game. I mean, it has been for a while. I don't know if it's as big of a problem now. I don't hear as many complaints about it now. I haven't been to any really big events to know if it is that much of a problem now. But I haven't heard as many complaints. But just in case, you do not want to lose to somebody that stacks their deck. So I'll give you guys a tip. If they're a really good stacker, they can reverse stack you, and if you just shuffle like this, they can still have their deck stacked somehow. I've heard some ways of people doing that. So when you want to shuffle your opponent's deck, just kind of do it random. Kind of just don't put stuff where you normally see it. I mean, this isn't, if I had a little bit more space, I've got some propping up a camera, so I can't really do it super organized. But I mean, do it kind of like that. You know, just make sure that it's not completely organized. You want to do it kind of haphazard, kind of random. So just in case they did do that, they won't be able to stack you. And you want to shuffle a decent amount. If you got to the match late, you don't want to shuffle too much because of the new time rule. Another thing, when you're take every opportunity you have to cut your opponent's deck, but don't pile shuffle every time unless you just think they still have their deck stacked and I need to pile shuffle again. Because of the new time rule, of course. You just don't have time to do that every time. Just make sure you don't just cut it, though. Actually shuffle a little bit, you know, just a little bit. So yeah, guys, that was all pregame stuff you can do. A lot of minutes worth of pregame. So I'll touch on actual game things you can do now. The first thing you can do is take time with your turn. Don't rush things. There's no need to rush things, especially in a format like this. It's pretty advantage based. Just take your time. Declare your phases. It's not as big an issue now, but when Trap Dust Shoot was played and everything, you pretty much needed to declare phases. Threatening Roar used to be played a lot more, so you needed to declare battle phase and all that kind of stuff. Make sure when you're doing something, you give your opponent a chance to respond, because that's a big issue. When you summon a monster, say, is the summon good, or say, is the summon successful, and then, you know, go on from there, because they could have warning. You need to make sure the summon's successful before you do anything with a monster. So just give your opponent a chance to respond. Say enter battle phase, declare an attack on this, response. If they say no, keep going. To go along with that, I want to touch on the collude honest kind of thing. When your opponent, it's a big issue if you're using honest. Just, if your opponent attacks your monster, just be like, enter damage step, damage calculation, whether you have honest or not, whether you have clued or not. You want to do that every time just to make sure you keep your opponent off guard. You don't want them knowing what you have with that respect. I just want to touch on card advantage real quick, in case you don't understand the concept yet. It's really big in this format. I hope it's big in the next format. I really, really hope it's big in the next format, just like it is in this one. You want to make sure that you're counting card advantage. You want to know if you have +1, +2, -2, whatever. You want to make sure, because that's how games are won right now. Just whittling down your opponent. Ask how many cards are in hand so you'll know. Count how many cards your opponent controls. How many cards are in your hand. Figure out what kind of resources your opponent is going to have. Check grave. Don't just check graveyards when you draw Monster Born or Blizzard or Debris Dragon or Gotham's E-Call, that kind of stuff. Make sure you're checking graveyards all the time. Don't check them like super often or anything. Once a turn, when your opponent activates Monster Born, that kind of stuff, just make sure you're checking graveyards. Whether you have a response to the cards or not, just check graveyards. Make your opponent think you are debating a card. Don't make them know that you don't have a response to anything. Because if you do only do it when you draw Monster Born, Blizzard, and such, you're going to be telegraphing plays, and telegraphing plays is always bad. Because reading is kind of hard to do in Yu-Gi-Oh. Just like poker, you have to practice at it, you'll learn everything. But if you go up against somebody that's good at reading and you're telegraphing plays, you're going to get beat. You're going to get pretty stomped. And another thing goes along with that, don't do the predictable thing all the time. Just do random stuff if you can afford it or if you need to do it. Because maybe you're behind 3 cards and you just have to do something completely strange and make your opponent think, what the heck is going on? Maybe you'll get the advantage back. Just do some weird plays sometimes. It doesn't even have to be desperation. You can just do them, and it'll keep your opponent off guard like that. I'm gonna go ahead and say something about side decking real quick. For game 1 and for the actual game, what I went over now is probably about it. What you can do other than just practice constantly. But that's another video. Side decking, if you're going to side 5 or so cards, your opponent already knows what you're going to have in your side for that matchup. So it's not a big deal. If you're siding like 8+ cards, you might want to just shuffle your side into your main and take out the 7 that you aren't going to put in. Just in case you're changing your whole deck strategy. You don't want your opponent to know that. Another thing, after game 2, maybe you've went over all the side choices in playtesting, you went with your ins and outs, and you still lost game 2 for some reason. Don't be complacent. Just, if you're a truly good player, you're going to think, this card doesn't work against them because unlike the builds we've tested against, he doesn't run this card. So just make sure after game 2 you're open to siding in and out cards again. I might go ahead and just shuffle your whole side into your main after that. I might change 1 to 2 cards after game 2. So I don't but if you're like, this didn't work at all, he sided into this, shuffle your side into your main. Pay attention to what your opponent is siding. If they don't do the same thing as you and you see them take out like 8 cards, just take out the same cards you were thinking about putting in. Pay attention to your opponent and their side decking. The last thing I want to say, guys, is after the match, make sure you offer your opponent a handshake. It's just sportsmanlike. It doesn't necessarily make you a better player, but it makes you more like player. So yeah, guys, my time's almost up, so I got to be quick about the end here. If you saw any, or if you noticed anything I missed and that I can touch on again, tell me about it. I'll try to put it in at the beginning of the next video, make it like a little continuation. But like I said, guys, my time is just about up. So I'm going to leave out here. I'll give you a new video next week. Driz out.